It's live, lightning crashes on the rock. Reagan here. If you were a fan of Linkin Park back in the day, you probably won't be now if you've heard some of their new stuff. Luckily, here at the Rock, we don't have to play the new stuff. If we can just play their old stuff. Here's Bleed It Out, Linkin Park on the Rock.
Very sorry about that, folks. I was out there discussing rules with somebody and quite entertained by that, and all of a sudden I thought, actually, that's a race start. We are into round 2, and this is the intermediate trophy, a 8-lap race. So we are into race 2 here. Now I'm just going to go back through some of the races. We've got qualifying there. Interesting to see Neil Chappell still in his leathers, but not out there, I think. Just going to find out where my results are. We've got results. We will be bringing you, where possible, an update of all of the racing today. Sorry, up till this round, we'll bring you all the points so we can keep an eye on how long people have been into the series and how they're going. So right now, anyway, the last race we saw Roger Cathro finish in first place. He's doing the same. It was Uriah Reich and Richard Markham Barrett, still the same. Todd Ackroyd. The top 4 people are still in the same position they were in the last race. We've got just 72,000 between second and third, 57 and 19. But Richard Markham Barrett now has gone through into the lead and set the fastest lap of the race. So maybe he's on the target to hunting down Roger Castro there on the lead bike there. 16.405 to 16.229. The gap is 1.8 seconds, and we've got 6 laps to go. So it might be Richard Markham Barrett's chance to reel in Roger Castro, or is Roger Castro just riding around as fast as he needs to win the race? A great group of bikes out there from 5th to about 8th place there. A massive battle going on there, and I'm going to say that's Todd Ackroyd in 4th place there going into the hairpin. So we got Kyron O'Neill, Colin Terry, Chris Beams, Tarbin Walker and Jacob Stroud amongst the slot, as well as it looks like Luke Miller and Jason Dawes. So Jason Dawes, I think, is on the blue bike with the black leathers going the tail end of this field. So massive battle. Look at that. Jacob Stroud dives in and takes 2 people going into Higgins, suffering from lack of power on this 390 KTM compared with the other bikes, but as they start to reel him back, but just dives in on brakes there. Good to see him coming down from Hamilton. We've got some competitors from all around the place. Okay, Roger Castro is now up the ante and put it into the 15 to 15.77 and taken the fastest lap away from Richard Markham Barrett, who'd set it on, I think, lap 2. A bit of a lap 1 because, well, they would have the fastest lap on lap 1, but it was a standing start. I don't know how many people have followed the Isle of Man TT this week. She was a bit of a tough week with tough fortnight with the lack of practice. Weather conditions stopped practice for the first 2 days, and then another 1 day, and they're all over the place. In fact, finally at the end of the week of the racing week, they had to cancel one super sport race. That's a 600cc race, so the boys have got into the first one. Bit of a shame to see Bruce Anstey pulled out of the senior TT while leading. I think Ian Hutchinson crashed and broke his leg at the bungalow, and that put the lead over to Bruce Anstey on the RC211. But somewhere along the line he retired at Bedstead Corner and was out of the race. I don't know, he wasn't feeling the best. He said in the post-race interview after he'd won the electric bike race that he wasn't sort of concentrating enough. He was very very much struggling to get on the pace and just keep the concentration going through. He did struggle at the Northwest 200. In fact, I looked at the form of him at the Northwest 200 where he never even featured in the top 10, which is out of character for Bruce completely. And I was quite pleasantly surprised to see him back on the pace at the Isle of Man TT races. Super Sport 600, the Hondas have had their day there, or that particular model of Honda. So he finished around 10th or thereabouts. The senior TT, as I say, he was leading the one when it was red flagged, and unfortunately pulled out, I think, of the restart there at Bedstead Corner. And the super stock race, he didn't feature highly in that either, which is maybe his day's come to the end, but as long as he's done it safely, and mate, he's already had, I think, 12 TT wins. With the 2 electric bike wins over the last 2 years, just sensational. It'll be interesting to see if somebody can lure him over to New Zealand with that electric bike and put him out there on places like the Cemetery Circuit. I'm dying to hear one of those. I don't want it to be the future of motorcycling in terms of noise, but yeah, that's the Isle of Man TT week. And Chris and Richard Lawrence finished, I think, in 38th place in the sidecar race, the second sidecar race, after having a rollover at Tower Bends in the first one. There's a spectacular set of shots there of them coming into Belaf Bridge on, I think, the second lap of the first race, absolutely out of shape, so much out of shape that they went in sideways and ended up colliding with the bridge, and the sidecar wheel was a good 30 centimetres off the ground. They continued on with the bent gear lever and flipped it over at Tower Bends, which is just before the gooseneck, just after Ramsey Hairpin Mayhill. It goes Parliament Square, Mayhill, Ramsey Hairpin, Waterworks 1, Waterworks 2, and then I think Tower Bends, and then the gooseneck, and they flipped it over then. But both guys were all right, and I think they had more damage on the bike from the hitting Belaf Bridge than they had from that. But Chris Lawrence has said that's his last Isle of Man TT, just too hard on the body. And mate, the guy's in his 50s, and it's just an incredible feat for what he's done. Roy Tansley, an Englishman, with Darren Prentice from the Taranaki doing the swinging, had a finish in the first race, but unfortunately they decided not to compete in the second race. They just said they just couldn't, it was just too much for them, so that was the way it was. Let's get back onto the racetrack there. We've got a blue flag out there for one of the slower competitors, as we see Roger Cathro coming through there in the lead. Cathro a 15.419, fastest lap on lap 6, we've got 2 laps to go. Richard Mark and Merritt goes through there in second spot. Uriah Ryken's coming onto the front straight in a very, very lonely third spot. Go back there, and there's a group of riders coming round there, and I'm picking that's Todd Ackroyd out the front of them. We've got Corin O'Neill, Colin Tillery and Tarbin Walker. In fact, no, Todd Ackroyd pushed down 3 places. So it's Corin O'Neill in 4th spot, Colin Terry and Todd Ackroyd. Jacob Stroud goes through there in 8th place, and that's number 24, Luke Miller and Chris Beams on the NCR 30s, both the same. Luke Miller on 24 machine, Chris Beams on the 17 machine, both identical bikes going through there. 9th and 10th, Jason Dawes, Chance Oliver goes through there in 11th and 12th. I'm going to have a look over this hairpin there and look at those 4 bikes that I was talking about earlier on. Tarbin Walker in the, I think he's back in the back end of it, so no, in fact the back end of that bike is Todd Ackroyd. So Todd Ackroyd changed the position there for the 4th position. I think Corin O'Neill and Colin Terry have swapped places again. So here we go, we've had a race win there for, no sorry, it's a white flag for Roger Cathro. So Cathro goes through, Mark and Barrett goes through, and then we've had Uriah Ryken on the number 52, 57 machine coming out of the big sweeper there, the Go Media corner. He's coming through. Duncan Rowe's been a lapper, already gone through. But these 4 bikes still hammer and tons here. Who's it going to be? It is Albert in front. Changing position there. No, it is still all in the same position. There has been some dicing going on. Corin O'Neill, Colin Terry, Tarbin Walker, Todd Ackroyd and Jacob Stroud there in 8th. Luke Miller and Chris Beams go through, so does Jason Dawes, Chance Oliver. No one's changed position in that whole lap whatsoever. So 15.409 for Roger Cathro. He qualified in a 16.9. Richard Mark and Barrett qualified in a 124, so something going on there, but he's now running around in the 116 mark. Where's that lead bike? Roger Cathro will be coming along the front straight. In fact, here is Roger Cathro coming out for the checkered flag. Another fine win for Roger, and a 1:15.7. The battle is on, maybe for second place. No, this is a lapper coming through. It is Richard Markham Barrett. Can he get a better lap time? A 1:16.056, a 1:16.9, so he's slowed down. Uriah Ryken should be coming round now. Yes, here he is on the black bike. No, that's a black bike. That's a lapper there. So Uriah Ryken is now coming onto the front straight. And look at those four bikes. In fact, one of them has dropped off the pace. It's a battle there. Ryken goes through there in third place there. And the battle is on for fourth. There's only a bike length in it. It was Corin O'Neill, Colin Terry, Tarbin Walker and Todd Ackroyd. Jacob Stroud comes through for 8th place. So once again, no changing the positions across the start-finish line in that last lap so far, but there has been a bit of battling going on through the field, and yep, absolutely no changes of positions. I think we're going to have a motard race maybe, and then lunch. I think, don't quote me on that, just